All right. First episode of Tiny Cars Big Feelings podcast. 28 scale racing. Talked about, I don't know. What do you think, Johnny? Monthly, weekly, bi-weekly?
Hourly.
We'll see how
Hourly.
often we can get everyone together. Try to
Absolutely.
start with monthly, and if there's enough, go more.
And probably whenever we feel like it.
Yeah.
There's enough drama to do this all the time now. I'll tell you.
Probably daily.
That's true.
I'm just gonna watch Facebook and I'll call one whenever this pot gets stirred.
There you go.
I mean, I don't have that much time, guys.
Oh, Evan, we all know that's not true.
All right. So we'll do some quick introductions. All of us are based out of 5280 in Denver, Colorado. All of us just got back from the 28 SRA Vegas Grand Prix. My name's Tim Westland. I've been racing RC cars for probably 10-ish years. I started many years ago with an HPI Hellfire racing 8 scale. Got my butt kicked for a long time. Kind of took a break from the hobby. Came back to Mini Z in about 2022, 23, so 3 or 4 years now, and never looked back. Let's see. I would say my biggest accomplishment is second place in all wheel in Las Vegas. That and hosting Worlds, that was fun. And no sponsorships, no affiliations to speak of. 5280 Raceway is what I call home with my mini touring car and all my minisees. We'll go with Johnny.
Hey guys, I'm Johnny Musso. Race at Denver. Been driving Minizes for 3 or 4 years now. Started driving RC cars when I was a teenager. Primarily did bashing. Really haven't done much racing until Minizes, so I've only been racing for a couple of years. And just started recently traveling with all these guys. We have a great time running around. As far as sponsors go, no sponsors whatsoever. Race at 5280 every Friday, and I'm going to steal your biggest accomplishment, Timmy, of helping host Worlds at 5280. It was a lot of fun, and I thought it was a very huge success. So,
And I just wanted to say I still think of you mostly as a basher.
I mean, you've seen me race, right? my greatest accomplishment in that case is not punting Art on the first lap of every race.
That's more of a goal than an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Too true. All right, Art.
I'm Art Scrimo. I've been racing since NAMM. I've pretty much done everything that could be done. I've never done 5th scale, but I've been around doing this for a long time, and yeah, I just got into Mini Z. These guys tried to talk me into participating in Worlds, which was super fun. Back when was that? That was in 2020.
November. Yeah.
November. Nice. So that was really fun, and ever since then, I've been kind of hooked on trying to make these little squirrels go around the track. So it's been a good time. Sponsors, I've had many sponsors over the years. Currently sponsored by RC America, Hobby Wing, Avid RC, um, Team EAM, and Motive and Gravity and all kinds of other things. Some of these, in RC, if you've been around for long enough, a lot of them are just relationships more than they are about sponsorships. So for me, supporting the brands that I like, I don't really get a lot from Paul Lemieux with Gravity and Motive, but I really like Paul. I think he's one of the best people in the industry. And so for me, I want to support him and I want his products to be out there. And, these are the kinds of companies that I try to get behind that support me as well. Accomplishments, I've won lots of things over the years. Probably my biggest accomplishment is Roar National title. I've participated in Well, and I've won Mile High Indoor Champs a bunch of times as well. So I got to take credit for that one.
I think
I
I've won
did
a
make the
couple of
main at
those.
Worlds in modified two wheel, which was pretty good. I didn't expect that, but was happy to be able to do it. That's really it. I mean, I'm really just here to talk about the feelings part of the
The
mini
big
cars.
feelings.
I just really the feelings really matter.
Yeah.
So
Art's a very sensitive, touchy-feely guy.
yeah, you know that. All right,
uh,
Jimmy, what do you got, old man McGeezer?
I don't have anything. I'm Jim McGee. Been racing at 5280 since they first started. Running Mini Z for about 5 years. Been racing RC cars for a very long time.
Yeah.
Um, no sponsors beside Musso Racing and Pickles.
team pickles. Team
I
pickles.
forgot. Team Pickles, yeah.
He's getting thrown off of Team Pickles already.
Yeah, it's a
And
secret club.
the
Best thing was holding Worlds last year. That was pretty big, pretty fun, exciting.
I agree.
Yeah, you
Do
guys
it again
you
if
guys
we
did a
could.
great job.
Oh, yeah. Don't let Jimmy undersell himself. He's pretty much our ringleader at
Yeah.
5280 for the Mini Z
Yeah.
side. So,
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't do nothing. It was everybody else.
No, I do all the interviews now. I heard it's mine.
Yeah,
Tim is the
yeah. Timmy
voice of
does all the interviews
5280.
for Mini Z, the 28 scale.
I told him we drew straws, and I still had to do it. That's how unlucky I was that weekend. All right, Evan.
Oh, I was lucky for you.
Yeah, my name's Evan Pearson. I've been racing Mini Z's for, gosh, going on probably 7 years now. I started off with some crawlers and bashers a few years before that, and I just Mini Z was my first exposure into actual racing, and I've loved it ever since. It's been a blast. My biggest accomplishment is, the Vegas race went really well for me. I got second in box stock and squeaked into the A main in my other two, barely made it, but I was pretty happy with that. No sponsorships or affiliations, but I'm just in it for the love of the hobby.
Yep. That's the
Sounds
best
good.
way to do it.
Yeah. All right, Timmy, what's next on our agenda?
All right, up next, Las Vegas race. All of us here got to
Oh
go
yeah,
there. It was
here we
a
go.
it was a pretty good time. I had a great time, but we'll go through it. Well, first we'll do results. I'll go first. I raced all-wheel drive, open pan, and what's the real word for mod spec pan?
2500 pan.
2500 pan and 2500
Yeah.
pan. That was my
Yeah.
throwaway. I didn't finish all of it. We'll just start with that. Running all wheel and pan open got to be a full-time job with tires because the grip was just in that weird spot where you almost needed new tires every run. So I glued a lot of tires while we were there, and that wasn't conducive to 3 classes. So I dropped the 2500 pan pretty early into the weekend. Pan open, I got faster all weekend, and that's the first time I've done that with a mod car. Um, I think I was fifth overall behind all the fast guys, which is pretty darn good for a club race hero out of Colorado. That all my data comes from what I do. So it was a good time. Soto helped me out a bunch actually. He gave me a bunch of setup tips, trying to help me figure out the bumps and the grip coming up. It was kind of a grip started coming up pretty well there on Sunday, and I was running a lot of droop to help with the bumps. And a lot of droop in high grip is a recipe for the traction roll. So Soto was helping me out with that. So thanks to him. But I did get faster pretty much every round, and I think I had like a best of 11 11.3 or 11.2, something like that. So not quite down in the 10s like the fast guys, but did okay. All wheel, I did podium. I got second place in that. I'm not too proud of it though because I was 3 laps behind first place, being
Oh, no.
Chris Kemper.
Second place is second place. Take that.
Hey.
So
Yeah.
that medal is
I
worthless.
feel you, Timmy. I still got smoked by first place in mine too.
Yeah. No, Ebert got faster all weekend too, and I think he actually should have got second in one of I think it was A1 where he missed a lap, but I think Ebert technically beat me in A1, but I was able to get the car back together for A2 and A3 for a really good a second place in A2, and I did get to win A3. Since Kemper had won out. So that was a lot of fun. I think all wheel is probably my favorite class to drive at this point. It's a point
You're a
and shoot
masochist,
class.
man. Masochist.
When you get them dialed, it's point and shoot, and they're a lot easier to drive than the pan cars. With those, they're just so darn twitchy, and it's quick twitch and reflexes and driving on the edge of disaster. And all wheel, once you make it around the corner, you have all the grip in the world, so you just punch it. So I get to point and shoot in all wheel. That's my driving style anyway. So it's kind of conducive for how I drive. So, but
So
I've got
Timmy,
a lot
what'd you
to learn.
do? Timmy, what'd you do to deal with the bumps?
A lot of droop. I think I had a millimeter of droop in the rear and like 0.7 or 0.8 up front. And I talked to Kemper and Christian, and they recommended going to stiffer grease. So I went from 15K to 30K, and that also helped out quite a bit. I didn't have the green slime, the green reflex grease that they were using, so I just went up to the stiffest stuff I took with me, and that was the blue 30K. And I
Okay.
also went a little bit higher in ride height. I think I went to like 2.3, 2.2. I'm normally down right at 2 or 1.9, and I poked it up.
You jack that up.
Yeah.
Well, like just for everybody listening that wasn't there, so there were some pretty major bumps on the straightaway, right? So you were at really full throttle for the most part, and you were hitting these bumps. And I mean, early in the week, I know they made some changes, but yeah, the car was kind of doing like what the F1 cars do, which will like dolphin down the straightaway,
Yeah,
and
that
so
porpoising.
yeah, that would like it would like lose grip in the air because shockingly there's no grip in the air. But it was happening quite a bit in those sections. I did find also that raising the ride height helped a little bit because it let the suspension work a little bit over those bumps. Um, I didn't really make any other changes besides what I did was I adjusted my driving line because there was a line on the straightaway where if you could drive to the inside,
Yep.
it was a lot smoother than the outside. So I would just make my line the inside line.
Yep.
That's kind of how
Never figured that out.
It was
you
I think it was like the
never
second
asked.
tile.
Yeah.
And I was competing against you, Johnny, so I'm not giving you all my good information.
I can't
bud.
blame you. I can't blame you. Big threat over here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think you have to actually turn some practice laps to figure that kind of stuff out.
It does help. Yeah, as it turns out.
It was like the second to inside tile, which is horrible for both mod classes that I was in. So I would get out wide, sneak down in to hit that second tile where the bumps were, and then go back out wide so I can make the sweeper. I had the worst straightaway line trying to
Well,
find
and
that.
so just in perspective, right? This is leg number 1 of the national SRA series, right? So the next one's coming up in Denver in July, and then is it September in Connecticut? Is that right?
Yep.
I'd be lying to you. Is that right, Jimmy?
I think it's September.
September or October. October.
Yeah, something like that. So the reason why it's important for the people that are going to participate is make sure I'm getting this right, guys, but it's a 0-drop series with
Correct.
3 events, right? So if you participate in the first one, and I don't really know how the points work. I don't know what's about finishing, or I don't really know. I should probably figure that out at some point. But I think the Denver race will be pretty good as well. I think we're gonna have to do some acute planning around making sure we have a really smooth surface. And, you know, hopefully, I'm sure Timmy will end up being the guy that we'll lean on for a layout. Timmy's layouts are always pretty good. So we just need to get those approved by SRA. But I think the plan is we're going to try to do that. You know, kind of have a big track, but not so big that it's impossible to drive your box stock car down the straightaway. I mean, there's comes a certain point when the tracks get too big, if you will.
I like the four wide 40 tile straight. I think that's a
Yeah.
good
Ours
happy
will be
spot.
40 by 20.
Yeah, I think it's reasonable. I don't this like whole make it the biggest. You know, if you're running mod, it's not so bad. But man, if you're running one of the slower classes, I mean, Evan, you can talk to this more than anybody, but it had to
Yeah.
feel like an eternity going down the straightaway, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of straightaway, and the fact that one of my opponents was coming in with some pretty hot cars. I was getting dragged on the straight for most of the weekend by several people in the class. Thankfully, I was able to make it up in the infield, but it was big for box stock.
Well, I mean,
That
we got to
AAA
remember,
game's
right?
rough, right?
It is. It's
Match your batteries, man. If you're willing to drop $400 or $500, you get that edge.
Yep.
I mean that's the challenge with the as I refer to Mini Z as the Wild Wild West, right? It's you just never know what you're going to get. All the other classes or the other, I would say, scales, we'll say, have a lot more cemented rules. In Mini Z, it's man, there's so much history and legacy, and a lot of people like me that are new to it. Like I don't even get half the rules that exist or in place. Like it doesn't even make sense to me. So I'm sure we're going to talk about it, Timmy, but we really need to
Yep.
talk about
We
some of the things that we did in Vegas and how well, I just have an opinion on some of it, I'll tell you that much.
well, we
All the
we'll get back
feelings.
on track here. All right, Johnny, what'd you run? How'd you do?
Let's see. I started off with 3 classes. I ran super stock, or we don't call it super stock. They call it 3500 Lexan. I ran the mod spec pan, which is 2500 pan car. And then I ran all wheel. I dropped all wheel after the first qual. And then the other 2, I didn't really have a good weekend. I had some personal stuff going on that I had to handle pretty regularly throughout the weekend, so I didn't get much practice or tuning time. I think I did make most of my races except the all wheel, so not my best performance. Was a little distracted, but I made the A's and the other. Well, I guess I technically made the A in all 3, but I don't really count the all wheel. I only ran 1 qual, and then there was only 8 drivers. So yeah.
The internet doesn't
So-
like that. You say you took 3 cars and you made 3 A's.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
So,
gotta work
but
on
it
your
was-
resume writing skills.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Well, if I ever, actually compete at some stuff, I'll talk about it. But I had a lot of fun. Learned a lot. Very different track than what we're used to at 5080. Not track, conditions, I guess would be the best way to put it. Learning to set up a car. We're so used to trying to figure out how not to traction roll. It was very different mentality trying to figure out how to find grip. So I learned a lot in that regard. I missed the Thursday fun you guys all had because of that issue I was having. So I think
We love you,
overall,
Dusty.
yeah, my weekend was a
didn't
little.
have the panic.
Yeah, exactly.
My
So,
dad brought me his F1 car, and he said he got a handful of throttle and it span around. And I
Oof.
don't know that
Yeah.
I've ever seen an F1 car spin out.
They're so
pretty,
long.
Pretty bad.
F1 was rough early in the weekend.
Yeah.
No, you saw my F1 back in San
Back in
Antonio.
San Antonio?
That was rough.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah. Well, here it was a universal experience. That seemed like a Jimmy problem in San Antonio.
Yeah.
I
Everybody
think
was
Jimmy's
having a
got it
problem.
sorted now, though.
Yeah. No, you look F1 looked good, man. All
All
right, Art,
right.
what'd you run? How'd you do?
I ran 3,500 with the big boys, and then I ran F1. And couple
Well,
takeaways from the race. Oh, I was like fourth in F1 and I qualified fifth in 3,500, right behind Soto. So I definitely had some pace, at least in my 3,500 car. F1 was kind of tricky. Man, it was a lot of uh, traffic, we're gonna
Mm,
call it,
yeah.
Yeah.
uh, to get around the track, and it was very hard to just sort of stay the course and put your head down and try to click off laps. It just was very difficult. 3,500 I thought was a little bit easier about that. I
what
got
motor are
street.
you running in 3,500?
What do you mean?
What motor was it? Or whose
Oh,
motor was it?
I was running. I was running an MWX. It was Jim McGee's motor because it was the only motor I had that would pass tech and not go over. So,
You're
which
welcome.
Back to
which
the Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
we will
Yep.
get to at some point. But I'll tell you the biggest takeaway for me was I brought tires from home that I had run on our track. That was a mistake. Now, it doesn't make any sense to me because RCP is RCP. It should be the same. But man, it was anything but the same.
Mm,
So that my biggest takeaway is, and I know this from other scales of racing, you can't bring tires from home. But I was just mostly trying to throw my car down just to see what it felt like. And it was so terrible. It was shocking how bad it was. And then put on a new set of tires that were the exact same ones, and they were fine.
Now, was that a function more of doing old tires or the powder that was on the track in the beginning?
Well, I mean, that didn't help, right? I don't know
Okay.
if we want to. I don't know if we want to split and talk about that for a little bit.
I was
But
just more curious for my own knowledge, is all.
I mean, I think honestly, I think it was. I think it was just tires from our track. Like honestly, like even when I put on, a fresh set of tens and went around the track, mark of tens in the rear. I mean, it definitely helped, but I still felt like the fronts I had that were from our track, it just didn't work, man. It just didn't work. But if you put a fresh set of tires on and retrue them, then it was fine. It just, man, I don't get it. But I will tell you that was a big lesson learned. I learned that. I won't do that again.
and I just kind of felt the same thing, but it was like two runs. Um, I would glue and run a set, and after the second run, I think it was in mod open where I went out. I tried to get three runs out of a set of 15s, and on that third run, my rear end was just there was nothing there. I couldn't step on it. I couldn't turn too hard. It would come around. It was wild. So I just made a rule for myself while we were there that every tire gets two runs. The fronts I learned I could save by just scuffing them, and it probably would have worked for rears. You just hit them on the truer for a minute, but that track just ate tires, and I brought them home, and sure enough, they worked great here, and they were the same tires that were sliding out from under me in Vegas. I was like, these are perfect. These are just broken in Denver. And I got home, and that was true. I put them back on, and it worked great. So
Same for
something
me.
about the
I mean,
grip there was just you
un-
needed the tread,
yeah.
I think, or if you trued them and just put that texture back into them for a minute. I think it was all about the texture and the tread more than anything else. The second that tread started fading, you lost grip.
I mean, I took my tires from that race and ran them Friday night, and they were fine.
Yep, exactly.
But going the other way, mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
Did
That's
not
how
win.
long my tires all ended up.
Those were good
Jar
life
of
jokes.
shame.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Johnny missed a lot of
Yeah.
racing while we were there. However,
Mm.
he also lost a fair amount of money at craps. So can we keep it in perspective
Hey,
here about
uh,
what really happened?
it was a rough weekend for me, man.
Yeah,
If I
I
hadn't put $40 into that slot machine on the way out, I'd have been out big.
Oh man.
The only good news is Stone Temple Pilots or something played in the courtyard on Fremont Street, and none of us went to it.
I don't think any of us knew who Stone Temple Pilots was.
Oh, I had to look it up. They have a song that I know. I had to look it up.
Yeah, I gotta remember. You guys are still young. You don't remember.
Yeah.
Art was going through it, but he was like song after song after song. Everyone was like,
I had
never
no
heard it,
idea what the
never
song
heard
is.
it, never heard it. There was one we were like, oh, that one.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think Jimmy's highlight of the weekend was the Britney Spears playlist. He brightened up a lot.
Sweet. That was the best.
Hey, I
I
mean,
will-
Art was singing all the words, so he knew it.
All
you
right,
should know
Evan.
him.
What classes did you run? How'd you do?
So I ran box stock and 2500 lipo and F1. In qualifying, I qualified third in box stock. I believe it was ninth in lipo 25 and seventh in F1. I'll be honest. This is my first big race where I've made the A's in all three classes, so I was very pleased with my results. And as far as getting into the mains, I was able to pull second place out in box stock, which was great.
Let's see the hardware.
Oh yeah, came in big.
There you
Got
go.
it. And I was just happy to be there in lipo and F1. It was a great experience racing, close racing, hard racing with so many drivers. It's not something I have a ton of experience with, and it's something I was trying to use as a learning experience for my future races coming up. And I definitely pulled over a couple times, let some people go by, tried to don't want to mess anybody's race up on the top or anything like that. But it was a fantastic learning experience for me to just kind of get out there and see what it was like in at the top. So for me, the tires were, I kind of just wanted to be patient. The grip was real bad early. F1, I was spinning out all over the place. I got to thank Art. He helped me fix the tweak in my F1. I was really spinning out one direction more so than the other. So that helped a lot. But by the time quals started and getting into mains, my cars kind of started to lock in, and I was pretty happy with how they performed. So
Yeah, man. Congrats.
thank you.
That's a hell of a weekend by anyone's book. So great
Yeah,
job.
that was a good weekend for you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably the
congrats to
best
both
one
of
I've
you
had.
two.
All right, Jimmy. What'd you run? How'd you do?
Oh boy.
I should have stayed home.
Oh.
After the first day, both Jim and I were looking for flights home. So just
Yeah.
When I came back late Thursday night, yeah, you guys were like, I almost looked when we went home, like in dead serious,
Mhm.
dead serious.
Yeah, I think the suicide watch hotline number went up on the wall with that grip.
wish they would have had that in tech.
We'll get to that in a bit.
Nah, I raced three classes. All-wheel drive, I dropped. Ran 2500 stock and F1. I struggled with all three cars the whole weekend. Didn't get clean runs. Then
Mhm.
I qualified like ninth in F1, finished second in the B, and I qualified 15th in 2500 stock. Won the B main,
Mhm.
so that wasn't too bad. You got to make sure your motor screws are always tight for every run.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
No.
That's what happened to me in qual 3 and 2500.
I
Got
never
Oh.
heard
hit and the
about
motor
this
came
story.
loose.
Yeah, I didn't hear
know
about that either.
Not everybody knew about it. I kept it pretty quiet.
That's funny.
Tires.
Nice.
I started running brand new tires through
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday. It made a big difference in F1 and 2500.
Yeah.
I learned a lot. What's that, Tim?
I was gonna say I kind of remembered the tire thing from Utah, and the first year we did SRA, it was 2024, I think, and the first Grand Prix was out in Utah, and I think it was Saturday where the wind picked up really bad through Salt Lake.
Oh, yeah.
And do you remember the dust that went up on the track when the wind picked up?
Yes,
Wait,
there was a
you guys
lot of
were
dust on the
outdoors?
track.
Yeah. So I
There was a
remember.
lot of gaps in those doors. There was
Yep.
doors around the, what do you call it,
Oh,
atrium?
Yep.
Not
okay.
an atrium, but
It was like gosh, it was a stage.
yeah, it was stage. Yeah, I mean, the wind was picking up and it was just blowing dust through those doors all over the track.
Oh man,
And
that's
what
different.
Corey told
That's
me to
unique.
do was put on new tires because tread helps with dust. So on that first day, I was like, it's just gonna be a new tire weekend, and it ended up being true. So
Seems like there's a lot of those in Mini Z.
yeah, yeah. And in San Antonio, the grip was weird. And Johnny remembers the grip that came up at Wolfram when we went out there.
Yeah. Yeah, it got humid and temperature spiked and traction roll city.
It got humid, the temperature spiked, and the smell of like 70 Mini Z drivers in a shopping mall outlet is what I remember about that event.
That
Yeah.
didn't help. That didn't help with grip, is what you're saying.
Help with
Exactly.
grit.
Yeah.
Gotta have that strong stomach to get in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it was
was
rough.
grit, not grip. Yeah. Ah, good times. All
Nah,
right.
but overall, I
Well,
had fun.
I
Fun
I
racing, hanging out with everybody.
no, absolutely, and we'll get into the Vegas experience here. The results aside, I had a great time. It was a lot of fun. I get to go to all of these races with my dad, and we get to kind of do a guys' weekend. So I always enjoy it, pretty much no matter what happens on the track. But the venue was really cool. There was good food everywhere. It was a little expensive, but there was good food everywhere, and
Mhm.
Vegas, man, that's what
good
Vegas is.
company. I really enjoy. Um, I had a great time in San Antonio, even though my cars were hot garbage. All the people down there are fantastic, and they all came out to Vegas. So I got to chat with Soto, and Kemper got to kick my ass and all wheel again, and that's always a good time.
Well, he better enjoy it while he can, because
You got a Julia. That's the word on the street.
Yeah,
Oh
that's hot.
boy.
track.
That's
I
hot.
still have never seen one hit the track.
Oh boy.
it could hit the track. No,
It
seriously,
could. If I was a betting
it's right
man,
here.
which I
Look,
am,
right
I
here.
would
It
definitely
exists.
bet it doesn't hit the track.
It's real.
All right. Well, if that car gets put together, the Denver race all wheel will be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I'll
bring
get
it on,
I'll definitely
Kemper.
get third now, so I just keep dropping positions. I had a great time. Good food, good people. The only thing that I really didn't have a great experience with is our room was right above that concert hall on Fremont, and
Ooh.
like when
Oh
the
yeah.
drummer would
Ooh.
start the double bass on the drum kit, our beds kind of skipped across the floor with the beat.
I ended up moving to the other tower.
Oh, dude, it was brutal. But I think Saturday night I went home or went back to the hotel so damn tired, my head hit the pillow, and I never heard a second of it. So it wasn't that bad, but being right above Fremont Street in Vegas is probably why you get such a sweet hotel deal.
Yeah. I
Um,
did love the location of the hotel to the race venue, though. I mean,
Yeah,
Caddy Corner across the street was
I know,
great. No,
no
you
Fantastic.
didn't.
rental
Yeah.
car.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yep.
that was nice. By
Three
the way, if you walk
Monsters.
up Fremont Street, there's nothing. Just so you guys know, like,
Thought you made fun friends with people like carrying mattresses. And...
oh my god, dude, it was so bad.
Hey, I saw a
I
lady
mean,
at 7:30 a.m. one shoe.
yeah, but that's a typical Vegas experience.
That's true.
How far up
Was it
Fremont did you
Kemper?
go?
I walked for 45 minutes before I gave up.
Oh.
Nice.
That's a
I was
long
like,
way,
there's
man.
somewhere to eat right up there. I can see it. But I couldn't get to it. It was too far. And then, oh man, it was quite an experience. Quite an experience. So I've been to Vegas a ton. I've never been to the old area of town. Really, I haven't really spent a lot of time up there. But I will tell you, it was pretty unique experience, even for Vegas. Like, I was talking to my wife about it too, and I was saying, like it's got that old feel, but then like it's a total party down there, like everywhere you
Oh
go,
yeah.
right? Like it's very interesting. I did like the venue where it was located, and the I thought the hotel was okay. It was fine for the price. It was fine. Um, but and I like hotel ballroom races. I know Johnny, you probably have a different opinion about that, but like when you never know what you're going to get when you go to these venues, especially these older locations where there's no subfloor built, right? And that's one of the things that we've seen with some of the other ballroom classes for 10 scales. They always build, Scotty Ernst and others, they always build a subfloor. So you're guaranteed to have a flat surface. And well, at least almost flat. But I think part of the challenge of Mini Z is that I don't think there's enough participation to be able to justify the cost of having to do that. And so you just have to kind of suck it up, Buttercup. And I think that's what we had to do a bit for Vegas was, that floor wasn't straight, and as a result of that, you could feel it in the cars, let me tell you.
Yeah. But I think it was one of those things where we all dealt with that. So I don't know. I'm okay with it. It's not ideal. It's not optimal. I didn't know how to set up for it. I had to ask people how they were dealing with it because 5280s we do have a subfloor and it's always super flat unless the off-road carpets down aren't. But I if it's the same thing and we're all dealing with it, I really does it suck kinda, but part of the
Yeah, I mean,
race
it's not the end of the
experience.
world.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's not the end of the world. I mean, it just, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you go to these events,
true.
you got to
Yeah,
know that that can happen, right? Because you can't control. I mean, that room that we're in is like a ballroom. That's where people have their quinceañeras and stuff,
right.
right? Like, it's not designed for racing. So
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna take what you can get. But that was definitely an element. The track was an element for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
There's no doubt.
So I have a question. You've done a lot more racing than I have, Art. Do they have ballrooms with like hardwood? Because I think that may be an easier surface to like set up on.
No, I don't think everywhere I've been, it's always a carpeted floor.
And
Um,
I'll tell you what
Yeah,
was.
it's always been carpet, but that carpet's been there since 1960. So
yeah. Hey, Adam
Oh,
Brown
What's
showed
Adam
up,
up,
Brown.
Adam?
man.
Hello. Is this the Little Wheels Big Feels podcast?
Oh,
This
I love
Yes,
it.
it
is.
is.
I love it.
Are you selling something, or are you here to participate?
No, I'm trying to figure out how to turn my camera on. I rushed over here, so give me just a second.
But I
Aren't you
tell
the
you
tour
what was
guy?
almost worse than the bumps was marshaling in your socks on that carpet. Oh my God. I thought I was gonna die probably like 3 or 4 times.
I mean, Alex Soto almost died twice.
And I think it was I think it was Pan Open where I traction rolled off the track and the one of the like the really fast little kids got up and ran to go get my car and he like totally ate it on his way to get my car. It is like, buddy, I am in 8th place. Take care of yourself. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna beat John Dixon here today. So go ahead and don't die marshaling my car, please.
You know,
Yeah, for
the
sure.
track conditions changed drastically after they Zambodied it, though. I don't know if it was Jimmy or one of you guys that talked him into doing that, or if they came up with that on their own. But after they drug it, seemed like a lot of the doubles and triples got knocked down one or two, and it seemed grip came up pretty quick. Like it was a huge improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean we should just talk about it real quick, Timmy. I think, the plan when we got there was they were setting up the track and we saw these steamers, and we were like, "Oh boy, this is." And Jim's over there on Amazon trying to buy a steamer, right? He's literally like, "All right, what model do you need?"
Yeah, I had to cancel the order.
Big.
Right? We're like, "This is gonna be amazing," and the track was absolutely horrible. I can't explain it any other way. It was just really, really bad. And so, in talking with some of the other people that I would say have some influence into the SRA group, I think some seeds were planted about, and I don't know, Jim, I don't know if you went and talked to Danny specifically or Brian, but one of the things that works really well in Denver that we do every single time is we run over the track with a damp towel and some kind of weight behind it and just drag the surface clean. Part of the other issue that we found out was that they added brand new tiles to the track. And the challenge with that is that those are dusty from manufacturing. And
Mm.
so the question was, is that were we dealing with weird traction? Was it the steamers that drag the brand new, I would say, dust or debris around the track,
Yeah,
creating a lot of inconsistencies? But yeah, I
and
mean,
I
there was a
Well,
lot
one
wonder,
to.
thing.
those RCP comes with like that film on it, and you have to simple green it. Like it's not just dust. I think it's like a releasing agent, or there's just something on the tile
Yeah.
from the factory that you have to clean off. Because we got brand new tiles for Worlds, and Johnny, Jimmy, Victor, all those guys, they were at the track for like 2 days scrubbing brand new tiles with simple green to get them clean. And I wonder if, yeah, they just took water with a steam cleaner and just moved that chemical all over the track. Because what I initially thought was like someone left shampoo in the cleaner because the dust that was coming off, it looked like dried soap or like
Yeah, it was like powder. It's what
like
it
baby
looked like.
powder.
It looked
Yeah.
like powder. It was crazy. And it was
So
all over the tires. That's how I knew it.
yeah.
And so like I would feel the tires and I would take like a layer of white powder off. Like it's Vegas, so you don't know what the white powder is, right? But you
Yeah.
assume you assume it's some type of legal.
Was it coming up from the carpet?
Yeah,
It's coming up
who
from
knows? That was
something.
an old ballroom. There could have been some good parties there before we
Al
were there.
Capone sneezed there once, and
But yeah, it was quite interesting to deal with that. But I think once they Zambonied the track, they did it. Let's see, I want to say Thursday night and then
Friday
Friday
morning.
morning again, and boy, it was like a different surface, completely different surface.
Yeah.
So that to me, like once we got to Friday morning and I threw my car down, I was like, okay, we're a lot closer than we were yesterday. And
Yep.
so then I could just work on making my car work around that track. But yeah, for the most part, Thursday was not very useful as far
Yeah.
as learning about grip. I mean, learning the layout, it was fine, right? You still have to learn the layout, but when your car's spinning out randomly, that it's hard to learn the layout mostly.
Yeah, and I think that's why we get such good grip in Denver is we Zamboni a good number of tiles every week, and they stay clean, and some of them are pretty wore in, and there's no chemicals on them, and we clean them every week. And
Yeah.
the other thing that I kind of thought about is if you steam it, you probably take out like all the rubber that's been laid down over any sort of period of time, and
Well, the
you just
theory,
rebuild
Timmy,
grip from scrap.
Timmy, was that it was going to add moisture to the track. That's what the theory was, I think, besides cleaning it. And I'm not
Mm.
sure that really works with foam, to be honest with you.
And I don't.
So,
That's not a factor because in Denver we get some of the best grip in the country, and we're in a desert.
yeah,
30 degrees, humidity is kind of a dank day sometimes in the summer. I mean, when y'all out here in July,
it's
it
probably
could
going to
be
be 15.
monsoon season. It could
Yeah.
also be 0% humidity, and your hands crack the first day. So
It'll be both throughout the weekend.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
probably
you
going to
know.
be 10 one day and 50 the next. And
Hmm.
yeah.
I'm just
So
surprised they decided to do it at a big race, having maybe not tested that before. That's kind of a
I
Well,
think
I thought
it,
they'd been doing that for a while because Jimmy was talking about it before we
yeah,
got there.
I
but I
know I
think
saw
Yeah,
they
some of
something
the
wanted to
on
make
Facebook.
local guys
a big
say
track.
that's their normal traction is very, very low,
Hmm.
but they steam it every time
I think we know
before
why.
the race.
Well,
Yeah, I
I
think
hope
we
for
know.
their sake they go to the Zamboni.
Start dragging it.
Zamboning? What is
Yeah.
what is it?
Zamboniing.
Zamboni.
Zamboniing? Zamboning?
It's Bonai.
Boni?
Well,
Zamboni.
we'll find out
Well,
about it the next Vegas race. They're associated because I'm pretty sure they're using the same tiles.
Oh
makes
boy.
Oh, yeah,
sense.
sense. Well, if they
And
try to
speaking of
steam
somebody who doesn't always drive the line, let me tell you, if you got off that race line,
oh,
you could lose traction like that. You
it
Those
was
were
marbles
brutal
were
the
you
whole
were
weekend.
done.
wicked.
It was
Wicked.
brutal the whole weekend off the line. Like
Hmm.
there were marbles and things. I was actually watching some of the replay on some of it, and you could see like if your car got out of that line, man, it was multiple laps before you could get drive racy again. There's
Hmm.
Hmm.
no doubt. But
Yep.
they blew the track off, right? We should clarify that. I think on Sunday morning, I was under the impression they blew the track off with blowers. So at least that's what I understood. Is that right?
I think we recommended that to Mark, didn't we, Jimmy?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did.
Yeah, because if you re-zamboni it with the hot towel, you kind of reset the grip in a manner,
Yeah.
and
You gotta be careful with
Definitely.
everyone had their car set up by that point. So if you drag it again with a wet towel, everyone comes back in the morning and the grip's completely changed again. So you don't want to drag it, you just want to get the dust off. So
Yeah, I agree. That's what I want to do when we host our
yeah,
races.
and we
We'll
will.
drag it the first night we set it up, make sure it's all clean. But I think we should be walking around with that leaf blower and getting as much of the marbles off as we can
And I
every
wonder,
morning.
I think it's a factor of like every single class getting significantly faster because we dealt with this in San Antonio where the marbles were ridiculous. There was some of it at Worlds where if you got off the racing line, you got some relief from the crazy grip. And I just wonder now every single class is essentially eating tires. Because my dad used to be able to go 2 months on a set of Market 10s in a stock car. And now with 40 degrees of timing, he, that it's not true anymore. He's going through tires pretty much like I am now.
Yeah.
I
I
think
could see that being a thing for sure.
I
All right,
think
few
do we
race
want to
days.
talk about should we talk about some of the less popular items from the race?
yeah, no, absolutely. We'll hand out roses one last time. Big thanks to the Las Vegas crew. I think they did a fantastic job. I know there was a rough start there,
Yeah.
but they listened. They took advice. I don't know if it was Jimmy or Nikki or Jimmy and Nikki, but we said there was a problem and they acted. we got the track taken care of.
Yep.
We got everything cleaned up. Everything turned out to be pretty dang good. So big shout out to that crew. I think they did a phenomenal job. Hosting is hard. We've had a couple in Denver now. Not all of them went great, so I know how tricky that can be. So big shout outs to them. They did a great job. Shout outs to everyone that donated to charity. I know
Oh
there
yeah,
was a
that was
couple
amazing.
that spent a lot of money on a body they didn't keep. So big shout out to those guys. Thanks to Johnny for helping me go half in on all the racer minutes.
Yeah,
I
that
know
was really cool that
I
you
know
guys
he
did
said
that.
Yeah,
that was from 5280, but that was kind of actually just me and Johnny putting the label on our dumb selves. I figured it was the best way to lose $500 in Vegas. So thank you for joining me in that adventure.
Yep. Happy to do it. Glad it went to something good instead of the casinos like the rest of my money did.
Yeah. No, but we should also give a shout out to Riley, who had his little hobby shop there. That was
He
really
kicked
unique.
ass.
P1, man.
that
Yep.
was great.
P1
That
coming
was
Yep.
in the
cool.
clutch.
Those guys
That
were
was amazing.
super nice.
Mhm.
Every time I meet those guys, I'm gonna probably see them this week in Vegas too, because they're almost always at the TCS race also. So um, I'll definitely give them a shout before from everybody from 5280, because it's great being able to go buy rims or pinions. I know I bought quite a few things from them, so it was
You
awesome.
know, do you think he'd be willing to come
I'm
up here?
I'm gonna
I can
send him an
talk to him.
email.
Because if you do see him, plant that seed. Because we need
Yep.
a hobby shop up here when we host.
Sounds
That'd
like
be
Johnny
great.
Musso Racing's gonna host it.
Yeah, there you go.
Is that what's going on?
That's
I
what I
mean,
read online. So
you already have to
Uh,
replace half your bag. You might as well just
oh God.
buy a whole.
don't bring up
Uh,
old stuff, dude.
Jesus, man.
You still hurting, bro.
I know, man. We're gonna let one simmer a little bit.
Thanks, Cal.
That was a
Thanks,
lot of
Cal.
money that DIA lost for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But thanks again to those guys. Art, if you see
yeah,
them,
I
plant that
will. I'll
seed.
talk to the Tracy's when I'm there. So
And because I was gonna send them an email, it was like you guys did fantastic. And I know Evan bought a body,
I did. That was clutch. I needed that.
and
I
I
bought
bought
tires,
rims.
rims. Yeah, I bought all kinds of stuff.
So thanks a ton to those
I think
guys.
everybody bought stuff. I know I did.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Tires got me on the right tires.
Mhm.
Yeah, even Johnny actually spent some money outside of the craps table. It was kind of nice to watch.
Yeah.
All right.
I donated to St. Jude's. All right, give me a break.
Yeah, you did.
It wasn't all debauchery.
No.
He did donate $500 for charity to St. Jude, so
Yeah,
thank you, Johnny.
good job, buddy.
Yeah, you guys. That was a really great of you guys.
Yeah. Now Tim's got
Yeah,
some really
that was
good
good.
ideas for the Denver race.
Yeah,
So
Fantastic
we're gonna talk
ideas.
about Denver. It's gonna be awesome.
stay tuned.
All right. So the namesake of the podcast, we are all mostly independent drivers, mostly get to say what we want. It is time for big feelings. I know Art has some. I know I had a couple, but I don't race spec classes, so they really don't matter. It is time for everyone's big feelings. Do you want to lead us off, Art?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm the troublemaker, right? I'm the guy, arguing with Danny in the middle of the race. Probably wasn't my finest moment, but I was also pretty irritated at that point.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think we learned a lot of things about SRA this past weekend. For me, it was really eye-opening to see how Mini Z gets handled. Having done this on the 10 scale side and 8 scale side for so many years, I mean, I have certain expectations of what I expect to see from tech inspection and how those things get handled, and I was so confused when we got there. So the long story short was that I think the biggest issues we have in general in Mini Z is around motors. I think probably most people would agree with that. It's a pretty tumultuous thing, to be honest with you. And as a racer, that's trying to, I first of all, I am a huge rule follower. So for me, I always want to follow the rules as they're written, right?
Mhm.
So it's the only way I think to be fair. And so the rule was there was no pre-race motor tech. So there was no check your motor, make sure it's legal, seal it, and then go race your race. It was check your, we'll say, room temperature motor, if that, right? You had to do it on your own. So you had to go up there using a tunalizer and you had to essentially look at the KV amount. And then you had to, how the tech was going to work was the top three in each class would get post tech. And post tech included things like weight. It included maybe, I don't think they were checking bodies, but they were before. But then the big one was they were checking KV of the motor. Now, the issue that I had with it is multifold. But the first issue I had was if we're teching motors on our own at room temperature with no load on them, and then after the race, we're teching them in the car with the pinion attached to the ESC and everything, it's going to give you a very different motor or a very different reading, especially at temperature, right?
Mhm.
So my issue is that they had a rule book at the tech table, and it said very clearly if you're at the max limit for a 2500 kV motor was 2800 sensorless. Now, I'm not going to get into the details of why everybody's using sensorless versus sensored measuring of kV, but it doesn't matter because the rule at this race was if you had a 2500 motor, it could be at up to 2800. And I remember this was probably on maybe Friday. I went up to tech. I had my motor out of my car. I put it on the tunalizer and it was 28. It was like 2795 ish, but then it would jump up to 2815 as an example, right?
Mhm.
So I'm like, okay, I can't run this motor because if I'm top three in this class and they tech my motor, there's a good chance it's going to fail tech, and I don't want to do that.
Mhm.
So, and talking with the SRA officials, they made it pretty clear that this was the words that I was told. If it's over 2800, if it blips over 2800, it's deemed illegal. That's what I was told. So I went back to my pit. I found as many 2500 motors as I could get my damn hands on, and I went and tested them all. Now, keep in mind, that's like 7 or 8 motors at this point,
Mhm.
right? Like, so that's like, it's just like it was a big waste of time, to be honest with you. But what I ended up finding was that the motor that I was going to run was probably a little bit too hot, a little bit too risky. And so I had to borrow a motor. I mean, keep in mind, I already had 5 or 6 motors in my hand, but I still couldn't find one. They were either way under or a little bit over, right? And so I think the challenge and where I kind of went against SRA a little bit was that, we set the rule. The rule was written in the book. We were all following the rule, but then other individuals weren't following that. And that's a big problem that I have. I don't
Mhm.
want to see, if we're going to set rules, everyone should be held accountable to that rule set, right? It doesn't matter who it is. Um, and I don't know how detailed we want to get about this, Tim, but I will tell you,
I like the level we're at. It's high level.
I will tell you that I don't, as somebody running the event, I think it's really, really important to create a lot of integrity about the racing because Mini Z isn't really known as, a
Mhm.
form of racing that is serious. I will tell you, like from the outside looking in, I'm not one of you guys that have been doing this for many, many years. It's nobody takes it seriously. And I will tell you after going to an event, I understand why. Because
Yeah.
there were rules that only apply to certain people. And straight up, I think that's bullshit. And so that's got to change. And if we
I
can't
don't
change
disagree.
that, if we can't change stuff like that, I just don't see it growing, to be honest with you.
I
So
mean, it's like, what's the point of having a limit 28 or 3800 if all of a sudden that limit becomes soft when you actually tech a motor and it's discretionary? Like, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
I
If
mean,
there's
one
a
of the
hard
things,
limit, it needs to be under that limit.
right? So that one of the things I was thinking about, right, when we talk about rules and allowing things, is that you would have to put some type of either the numbers 2800 all the time for a 2500 motor, or it's not. But if it's not, the number cannot be variable. And I think that was the challenge we were having at this race. Was that like Danny was like, well, if it's not really over, then it's okay. And my thought was, well, no, if it's
Mhm.
over at all, it's not okay.
And Nikki had a
Right.
great point. You know, if you make an exemption for 2808, oh, that's not really over. Well, mine's 2810. Am I over? Johnny's 2812. Is he
Right.
over? You know,
Exactly.
that game
Right.
gets really dangerous. And I'm all for kind of relooking at the rules here because, as Art stated, sometimes it's a blip. You know, you put your motor on the tester and it comes out at like 2780, but there was a blip where you got 2808, so the sensor says your peak RPM was 2808, and they look at that and you get DQ'd. So I don't know if it's a tolerance thing at 2800, and the other part that I really struggled with was with post tech being brand new. The procedure was, we're going to hook up a tunalizer to your motor while it's in your car. And my dad has an MC1, and there's no capacitors in there on the back end of the FETs absorbing back EMF or load coming from the motor. So it would have fried my dad's ESC if somehow he ended up in post tech. And
Yeah, unsoldered
No,
mine every
yeah,
time they
MC1s,
post
they
so
were
teched. Yeah.
yeah,
they
they were
were
over there
unsoldering them.
unsoldering. They had people that were in the race unsoldering. I don't look. They weren't changing it. I'm really not gonna be picky about that. But we're handling the cars. We're unsoldering motors. But there was no process and no procedure and no data on at 70C instead of 25C or however hot they come off. I don't know. I never put a temp gun on one. That your KV is going to change, and they have no data. They're just 2750 might pass if you ran an 18 tooth pinion and mod spec pan and got your motor up to boiling, or your KV might go over, and there's no data supporting that. And I don't remember reading anything about KV checks and post tech unless there was like a protest or something.
Well,
So
and they don't really even
this
have
rule
a
change
solid.
kind of came out of nowhere with no supporting data, no process, no procedure. It was just kind of out of the blue. It's easier. We don't have to tech 100 motors. We're going to tech 9 was the
But they
data
were
that
Yeah.
they
I
did
got.
3 at every race, so I mean you're still
Yeah,
looking at a
No,
pretty
that
A3
is not
decent
that
number
is
of.
not true. It was only the 3 in the A.
in the A. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, but they did it for every qual and every main.
I was
So the
thinking more
same
about the
three
main.
cars could have been teched 6 times.
Yeah.
Well, and that's exactly what happened. Let's
That
be honest.
is. Yeah.
I mean, I think the reasoning would be though, like if you were cheating, let's just say that's the case, then you probably will end up third or second or first, right? And that's the idea behind it. The problem is that doesn't really work. Even for seeding, that was a bit of a problem, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
for seeding, I could put in the hottest motor I have, right? And seed one if I'm capable of doing whatever the 5 average laps. I won't even get into that whole thing. But like, like you could figure out ways around it. That's why I think this idea of reviewing the motors, sealing them, label them, and then you only get 3 per class is really the right thing to do. Why not learn from what 10 scale and all of these other things have been doing for many, many years? It works, guys. I got news for you. It works. Now, should you be using KV? The answer is no. However, the problem is I don't think we have the numbers as a community to understand what the actual internal resistance or impedance of these motors should be. And so unless create, it kind of opens up a can of worms. KV is easy. That's why everyone does it. It's an easy calculation. The problem is it's not very accurate. And so when we're talking about this is the hard line and you can't go over that, okay, fine. If that's the case, then we just have to work within the confines of that, and there is no over. If it's 2800, it's 2800. That's it. Unless you write in the rule some of allowance. So one of the things that I was thinking, of talking to SRA about was, why don't you do 2800's the target, 5 plus 5%. And that 5% number doesn't change, right? It's still going to be 14, right? So that means every motor, even if they blip, cannot go over 2814. If you see anything that goes over 2814, automatic DQ.
Yeah, I don't even understand why. Like, I get it. Like, the 5%, it makes sense. But if you're going to have a hard number, why have a qualifier on it to start with? Like,
Well, you
why
got to
not just
remember
make it
though,
2814?
we got to remember they're backing into this number, right? Because really the number is, I mean, you've tested how many motors now. If you
A
hook up a
shitload.
sensor wire to that same motor, it's probably 3,200,
Yep.
right? On
Yeah,
average.
without a doubt.
So we're not really running 2,500 motors anymore, guys. It's just not
And
happening.
I think that's a cultural change we need in Mini Z, where we kind of follow the 10/12 scale model. Is now it's a 29.5 motor. It just is what it is. That's how many turns there are. It's a 29.5. We got to change the name to 29.5 GT and 29.5 F1, and it's
Right.
got to be 29.5 now because the KV numbers are made up and magical. It was a 2500 20 years ago when PN made the first one. And when you hook up a sensor wire now and with 40 degrees of timing built into the can, they're all 32, 33, whatever the number is. It doesn't make sense to call it 2500 anything because that's not what it is. And
Yeah.
even a couple years ago, when Corey wrote the original rules, it's like, why not call it 2800? Well, the can's a 2500, so we just got to get to 29.5, 25.5, and start
Yeah.
referring to the motors as what they are, because
Yeah, I
Well, how
mean,
do you? I agree, but how do you tech that? So, like, I think our biggest issue here is how do you
I
create
don't
an
think you
even
change the
playing
way we
field for
tech it.
everyone?
I don't.
Well, KV
Well,
is
I
such a
do,
shit way to tech things.
but we're not going to get better unless who's going to bite the bullet and buy the $1,000 tester?
it's probably going to be me, unfortunately.
Oh, well, I support you. I'll donate half. I'm known for that.
I don't think you want half of this bill. You
um,
only wanted half of the other bill.
and the other problem I think is with the manufacturing of these motors being constrained to this 15 mil can is when we start getting inductance and impedance and resistance and all of these crazy values, they're not going to be consistent, and we're not going to find any consistency in those numbers for a long time. And I think that's why KV is the easy button for now. I
Well,
I think you put, a weaker magnet in a car with higher resistance and you get your fast motor, or I think there's a lot of gamesmanship in manufacturing to get them to KV the same, and we're going to start testing them the correct way, and it's going to be a nightmare. It's
well,
kind of
I
my
mean,
thought.
so
There's also a
how
lot
do
of
you deal with that?
gamesmanship in how you're checking KV, because you can check KV without load and you can check KV with load, and they are very different numbers. So, and as a matter of fact, a manufacturer could figure out how to create a motor that under load has a different number than it does without load.
And
So,
I mean, that just tacks on to this arms race we have going already on motors.
yeah, it's just going to get worse. And when
Yeah.
does it stop, right? I mean, like, and
Yep.
like you watch the manufacturers, it's like, all right, I'm going to come out with 30 degrees of timing and it's fixed. And then the next one's 35 degrees and then 40 and then 42. And then somebody's going to find the max, which is probably somewhere around 50. And when we get there, guess what? All the motors are going to be at 50. And then what are we going to do after that? It's going to be something. So that's what I'm saying. Like, at some point we got to move past KV for real racing. Like, for club racing, it doesn't really matter. Let's be honest. And most people are going to do club racing. But the problem is, if you're going to hold these national level series and world championships and all of these other things, you got to have a rule set. If not, people will cheat. That's all there is to it.
Yep. Now, I'm going to be Mr. Brightside for 15 seconds. I think the spec racing at this SRA event in particular was the closest I've ever seen spec racing at a national event. It's probably weird how we got here, but there was an MWX on the podium, there was a Reflex on the podium, and a Silver Horse on the podium in 2500. The Reflex and the Silver Horse, we can argue they're the same, but there were three brands of motor on the podium in a spec class, and this is the first time I've ever seen that be the case, because last year it was whoever had the hottest uncensored motor, because we were all running uncensored in 2500, and the year before that it was whoever could get the most timing into that cheater GLESC that don't blink. So
Still
to
have one of those.
right, and we all bought 9
And
of
I
them
think they're
because we
still in
figured out why
play.
we got our asses kicked in Utah.
I think they're still in play, guys. Let's
They
be
definitely
real.
are. Yeah.
We'll get there. um, but to be Mr. Brightside, I think it's better than it has been in the past. But much to Art's point, I think our rules have a long way to go in regards of motor. And the last time I talked to an industry professional, I won't name names, they had a 16 mil design with adjustable timing, but they had gotten kind of the tip that SRA was going to go to a 15 mil restriction, and that design got canned. So
I see what you did
what
there, Tim.
what I would propose is in 2027, like, you have to say this now so all the manufacturers can get on board, but in 2027, 16 mil cans are back in play with adjustable timing, so you can take care
Yeah.
of it yourself. And
hmm
maybe it's easier to manufacture a 16 mil can with some goddamn consistency. Ooh, got some feedback there. But maybe if we have a 16 mil can, we have bigger artwork to work with here. We can get more consistency. So I think for this year we have competitive motors, legal or not. I don't race spec classes. I don't give a shit. I'll just say it like that. I'm in mod. This is why I'm in mod. I lose every event I go to, and I'm happy to, so I don't put up with this. Um, but I think we go back to the 16 mil motors. They're probably easier to make. You can get variable timing into them, and if your motor's not passing tech with the timing cranked to Kingdom Come, you got to back down. And we just I I don't know why 16 mil was outlawed when that should be the future. Why did we go backwards when we had adjustable timing on a can on the market?
I mean, I
It
think
was
it's
beating
that.
everyone, and you all lost to it, so we outlawed it.
That's why. I mean,
Instead
that's
of
why.
instead of going, hey, this is better, this works better, let's pursue this. This is easier to manufacture. This is easier to test. This is easier to do good with. No, our machines are calibrated to 15 mils. Let's just get rid of that one. Easy switch. So that's what I think. But I run mod.
I actually like the. I'll be a little bit biased here, but I still think the running the Hobby Wing 3500 is just so much fun. Like I love the power delivery. I just love everything about it. Like it just feels so much more fun than trying to wring out a 15 mil can, honestly.
Hmm.
Like it's just more fun to drive.
Oh yeah.
Well, and that's what everyone was running, right? Like
Yeah.
you
had a
had to
spec
run the Hobby
class and we
Wing. It
banned
was yeah, that's exactly it. It was a spec class. Like
we had
that
a
was the
spec class
motor
and
you
banned
had
it.
to run.
But so this
Okay,
is always
guys.
a challenge when
In the
manufacturers.
rules of the ESC, it states ESC must not have any timing, turbo, or boost activated and have a visual blinking LED blinking mode.
Yeah, I know what the rules say.
Yeah, but was anyone teched for Blinky?
No, none of my cars
Actually,
had
no,
the
we
blink
all
Oh,
were
yeah.
button.
I was.
before the race.
Hey,
We were all pre-teched. Yeah.
Yeah, I was text for
they
Blinky
started
every race.
yeah, they were checking LEDs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
So
But
the
none
guys
of
that
my
were running
cars
that
had the blink.
special couldn't have been running in any spec class, just mod.
I don't know. Hate to speculate.
But
Just asking.
All I will say is that it doesn't make sense why you wouldn't run ESCs in cases.
I think they did that with batteries after one of the SRA races. Was it last year or 2 years ago? I forget. But someone had I think it was AAA batteries that the case was peeling off and maybe not so legible, and they were 2 seconds faster in box stock than everyone.
Well, but in 10 scale,
So,
that's not legal because you actually
and
have to
it's not
check
now.
the
Yep.
battery, right? I mean, like, and if you
There-
can't read the label that was approved, quote unquote, you
Right.
can't run it. I
And
mean, straight up.
When that became a rule, but it did become a rule in Mini Z
yeah.
in
So
Yes,
128.
now
it is a
Yeah.
rule.
your
They don't test
AAA's.
batteries in box stock.
Yeah, they just
True.
look at the
That's
label.
true. AAA does not.
Yeah, which is like literally, as Evan found out, can be the biggest difference between car A
Yeah,
and car B.
right.
I mean,
Yeah,
some
well,
of it,
triple A's will be. That is the
what?
big difference.
Well, yeah. If you want to
Huge
drop
difference.
$400 or $500, yeah, you can have a rocket ship.
Well, but obviously it makes a huge difference. So
Oh, I mean, that one
if you're
car was what, a
spending
second and a half faster?
if
Oh,
you're
yeah.
spending $1,000 or $2,000 to go to a race, I mean that's what people have to remember, right? Most of the people in that room that traveled from out of town spent their own money to get there, and manufacturers were not paying the way, and it's an expensive thing, right? And for
Totally.
anybody that's going to come into Denver, it's you have to know, and or going to Connecticut, you have to know it's an expensive proposition for people.
Mhm.
And
You know, it's
One thing I
I'm
very
would
gonna
like to
throw.
say, anyone coming to Denver, message us. We'll tell you what tires to bring, all kinds of stuff.
yeah, we know what
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
Here's a rule change that is gonna make everyone mad. I don't think we should track points for box stock. It shouldn't be part of the series. The
What?
locals, yeah, to get the local participation in,
No, I understand.
and because if you're flying somewhere to run box stock, you should be
Evan,
running
close your ears,
something else.
earmuffs, Evan, earmuffs.
But you ran F1 in stock. You ran it for fun. I get it. I'm not shaming Evan. But if that's your third class, it's okay. Give out medals, but it's a standalone event. Get the locals involved in the box stock class. Let mom and dad and kiddo come out and run box stock, not against everybody. So you get your trophy from the event. It's treated like everything else. But at the end, why are we giving out a national prize for box stock?
I'd take it a step further. I'd get rid of all AAA cars.
Oh,
I know you would, but those are
I
also
wouldn't
the
know.
biggest
I
classes.
know people love them. People swear by them. I think they should be gone.
They're the biggest classes of the weekend from
Yeah.
that race.
yeah. They.
How many
You know,
people raced 3500 AAA?
there were 2 heats.
I don't know.
Weren't there?
Yeah,
Yeah,
there
Yeah,
were.
but
There was an A
3
and a B.
heats of box stock, right?
There were 17 in box stock. I think 2500 lipo was the biggest of the weekend,
Yeah.
but I think the second biggest was 3500 AAA.
It
Yeah, I
was.
mean, unfortunately, Johnny, you're gonna lose that. Look,
Oh,
and
I
don't,
know. I know.
and honestly, like I really like box stock. It is really an entry level for club racing. It's absolutely awesome. It's exactly what Mini Z needs to get people started. But to Tim's point, I'm not sure that we make that part of a national series.
Well, I'm all come to the event, come to the series as a local and compete and watch and learn and get invested, get involved and go to the next level. But it just feels weird to have, people flying in running one class and it's box stock. It just
Yeah,
Like
feels
Was there a
weird.
lot of that? I didn't even notice.
Well,
only the
There's
guy that
13
got
in
first.
Oh,
Triple A.
really?
Box stock,
Interesting.
yeah.
But
Yeah, the guy that got first. That was his only class. He's like, oh, I don't want to deal with working on cars or anything. And he flew in from LA, I believe, somewhere in California.
Yep.
So let that be a local trophy to get people involved at the grassroots level. And I think if you have to fill out a driver's sheet, you shouldn't be in 2500 either. But that's just, again, that's going to make a lot of people mad.
there was 29 drivers and Lipo 2500.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the biggest class. Yeah.
That was the biggest class.
Yeah.
I think it should be 3500
F1 had
Pro,
18.
F1 Pro, and Mod.
Yeah, I mean the announcement of the when we were at the event, they announced all those new classes, and I was just like, man, I went up to their website and I'm like, dude, SRA has so many classes already, and then you added 4 more. It just seems like so many ribbons. I got to
I mean,
tell
you're
you.
just going to dilute it, right? Because people will spread out and run different classes,
Yeah,
and you have less competition. Am I wrong thinking about it that way?
you end up
No,
with
for
20 heats with 3 drivers in each, and everyone gets a trophy.
Yeah, and then you have to wait on marshals all weekend.
Correct.
Oh yeah,
Correct.
that was not awesome. I did
Yeah.
not like that, honestly.
Well, that and the bullshit they pulled with not stacking mains and letting some drivers up into mains
Yeah.
and some
So
not.
let's talk about that because that one I really don't get, right? Let's talk about how like at some level SRA has to have competition rules, right? You have to define what the criteria is for making a main, the main, whatever you want to call it. But the problem is that at this race, they picked and choose how many people made the main event. And that just doesn't make sense. Like,
Mhm.
why in the hell would you have 9 in one class, 7 in another, 8 in another, 10? I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Set a number and pack your mains based on that number. And if you can't fill the lower mains, then you can't fill the lower mains. It's like, to your point, Johnny, it's not like they weren't asking for marshals every 5 seconds anyway. So
Right.
like if we had to get volunteer marshals for a 3-car race, then so be it. It's no different than anything else. But I didn't like how that was handled. Like 8 people in the main unless somebody bitched, and then there was 9 in the main magically. That's
Yeah,
not
that
cool.
flat out
That's not
wrong.
cool. That's not
Flat out
cool.
wrong.
Yeah. Like Like it's just like I didn't like my position of fourth in F1, so maybe I should have went and complained and said, "Hey, can you make me second or third? Because, I really wanted to be second or third." It's just there was a lot of stuff like that that I'm like, there's a lot of room for improvement here.
And I
I'm
think
being
we
nice.
just I think what SRA I think SRA is a great organization for making a class catalog and helping put together some of these races and choose venues and stuff like that. But it just after Vegas and a couple events last year, it just seems like there needs to be a competition committee or something like that. That's not the SRA, like the SRA
They need a
competition
roar
committee.
equivalent.
Or Aurora equivalent, maybe, and it doesn't even have to be that so much as if you have to make all these decisions on your own, that's just a hard job. I don't feel for the guy, or I do feel for the guy that has to make all these decisions. How do I keep this program flowing? Who gets an A? Who doesn't? That's a painful job. So why would you only have two or three people's inputs when we can write it down? We can have a group of people whose job it is to write it down and enforce it. It just feels like there should be a committee independent of the group that's, hey, we're going to make a new class, and the competition committee says, yep, that's going to be part of the catalog this year. You know, a group that
We
actually does the events and the rule enforcement at the events, and let the SRA run the catalog and
run their catalog,
right,
right? Because PN has their own catalog, right? And
right,
Right.
that is one of the biggest problems in general with Mini Z or 128 scale is that I don't care what anybody says. If a manufacturer who's building motors, ESCs, whatever, they're gonna have bias. There's no way not to. I'm sorry, but it's illogical to me to think that, for instance, is it a big surprise that the SRA only produces, that's associated with a manufacturer that only produces 15 mil cans and then we outlaw 16 mil, right? Like there's no mysteries to how that happened, right? Like that just is what it is. But I think at the end of the day, for me, like I really want to see a rules organization that really takes, this is what I'm going to say, takes into account what the manufacturers have,
mm-hmm,
but doesn't define the rules solely based on that.
right,
I would really like to see. I mean, we already do have Roar. Roar has been contacted about Mini Z. Apparently, they're not interested in taking on or adding rules into their catalog for the 128th scale. Um, I think there's a lot of opportunity for us to define all of these things, like if you go to a club race, this is what you should expect. If you go to a national level race, this is what you should expect. If you go to a world level race, this is what you should expect. PN has that for their own stuff, but SRI really doesn't have that, right?
mm-hmm,
And so if SRA is going to try to compete, we'll say nationally and internationally with something like PN, that stuff needs to be defined. But the problem is, even if you let the SRA do it, at some point, there's no way to get over the hurdle of it's being run by a manufacturer. And I know Danny and Brian don't want to hear that, but that's the reality. I mean, the whole reason why, at least as I understand it, Corey wanted to start the SRA is to get the manufacturers out of the picture because he didn't like what PN was doing, right? As an example.
That's the
But
exact
the
reason he started it.
yeah.
but then the
Yeah.
We talk
problem
about it all
is
the
that
time.
like,
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, but like at the end of the day, if that gets bought up by a manufacturer and then we start adapting rules to that manufacturer's catalog of parts and pieces, then it becomes somewhat biased. There's no way to not do it. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
sounds to me like there's a real opportunity to find a rule set outside of PN and SRA that takes the classes I think that can grow the hobby, this side of the hobby, into account and really try to get manufacturers to support those rules instead of the other way around.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I get it 100%. Yeah, because we wrote half those rules sitting in an old Chicago with a couple beers.
That was fun. That was a lot of fun. I
Those
miss
were
OC.
good nights.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of it was like every manufacturer makes a 53-2 spur. Why does the one you use at your club not work at a national or a regional event? And so part of it was like, okay, we don't all have to run these ugly yellow gears anymore. And your pinion doesn't have to be green, it just has to say 12 on it. And we're going to use the 3500 GT didn't exist in PN world, and that became like one of the most popular classes overnight. You don't have to deal with the hard body. The speed is right in that sweet spot that's not mod, and you don't have time to smoke a cigarette on the straightaway. Like 3500 is probably one of the most ideal classes in the catalog, and it just we did all that to get away from a manufacturer rule set, and now it's that motor, it's good. But now with all the timing and the arms race for motors, I think they're not even that competitive anymore. Like if you opened it back up, let's just pretend, you know what, 16 mils back in, I don't know that they would podium with how fast these new 3500s are.
I mean, yeah, I get that part, but I'm going to tell you, based on how they feel, they're still more fun to drive. I don't care what anybody
I don't
says.
disagree with that.
It got
at all.
that low end, man. That grunt.
Yeah, like you have
yeah.
torque, and then you still have the high. It's such a great feeling motor that,
No.
like, I don't know. I mean, like for me, I would prefer to run it, but I understand if we're going to adopt as a track, right? We've made a choice now after the Worlds that we're going to adopt SRA rules and push those forward. Most of the non-serious club racers could not care less about any of that rule set, right? They literally don't care, don't know what it is, don't even check the SRA website.
Oh yeah.
It's only people like us that are going to go up there and look at it and try to figure out how to be within those confines, knowing that we're going to travel to one of those events. But for club racing, no one cares.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
still on piano rules.
Yeah.
Let's
No.
be honest.
Yeah. No. Totally true. And our culture is so opposite from like the East Coast, where it sounds like they're doing motor techs for the podium after a club race to make sure you actually got your sticker. And that 8.41, like no runoff, I guess that's like
That's ridiculous.
that's an East Coast
That
thing.
was crazy.
And they said it was a safety concern. You know what? Fine, we're in something that can't be rebuilt in that old ass casino. You know what? I almost get it. But then you're learning that we're cycling batteries and getting them up as hot as we can. We're discharging them at 4 amps, charging them at 2 amps, trying to get that battery as hot as we can. And that's
what
that's
were they
not a
calling
safety
them? Like,
concern.
yeah, they were calling them pit bitches or something like that for cycling batteries and stuff like that. Like,
I'm not going to
crazy.
get into the vernacular.
Yeah.
But
Not only that, but if
that's
you're
not
going
a
to
safety
cycle,
concern, and the battery temps are off the charts. But 841, go get back on your plane that you just spent $500 to get on because you're DQ'd. At
well, and
Denver,
that's
guys, I'm picking the tech person, and you can run off your battery in Denver. It's an RC club. We charge batteries all the time, and sometimes it's a little wrong.
Well,
not
there's
only
a
that,
difference
but-
between being like 100th over and being like 4/10 over.
Right.
Well, and not only that, but like let's be honest, right? Like we're using literally the cheapest battery chargers we can find on the market. because we're only charging it.
I love Adam so much.
Yeah.
And we're literally expecting them to be the most accurate things. I mean, come on, it's so ridiculous.
I
Like literally the battery charger costs the same amount as the $20 battery, and we're expecting consistency every single time we go to tech. It's just not going to happen, guys. It's not going to happen.
Wait, you mean the voltmeter in your charger isn't as accurate as the fluke meter that they have up there?
Yeah, that's
Especially-
never been calibrated.
And I
Yeah,
think someone tried to calibrate it because I think that fluke meter was pretty damn wrong.
No, no.
Yeah, I think so too.
The first couple people were like, "It's definitely not 9.2."
Well,
my charger's
there's
not that bad.
There's that whole other issue, right, where you can't measure voltage while you're charging super accurately with the same leads. And so, like, remember the GFX had like separate leads to measure voltage while it was charging, and like the one of the other brands used to do that as well. One of the ones I used, and that one would nail it every time. But every other charger is just trying. It's like it's not voltmeter and isolation accurate.
If you can buy the charger on Amazon, you're probably not going to get the most accurate response every time you go to tech. It's just not real, man. And the fact that and that's, I think, what was driving me crazy is that, like, we're at this race and the motors can be whatever value they want, but if the battery comes up at 84.01, like, we freak out.
Yeah, you're DQ'd. It's a safety thing.
Yeah, because you can blame the racer instead of the manufacturer.
Right.
Oh, that is the truth right there. That is the
true.
truth.
The other thing
I mean,
is,
I was charging exactly the same with both batteries, and one was 3.8 all weekend, and one was 4.0.
yeah, it's just gonna happen, man. Especially, here's what's crazy. This part of the industry has chosen the most volatile batteries as the things to heat and discharge and charge. It's like, have you ever looked at the internal resistance on a mini
It's not
Z-Pack?
good. It is not
It's
good at
not awesome, bro. Like, what are we doing? Like, that needs to stop immediately.
all.
I gotta
Yeah.
tell
My next for all the rule changes, my next one would be your battery needs to be within like 5 degrees of track ambient.
Yep.
Or
we've
or
always
you do go
we've
back to your
always done
pits.
that. Yeah. Now look, that is an automatic DQ that I've seen in the past because that really is a safety concern, right? If
Right.
you are, especially, I mean, you got to remember, right, though, like normally with some really good 10 scale packs, you're going to see under 1 milliohm per cell, right? That's what you're going to see. But we're talking about, and those are heated, and people are cycling those at 40 amps and doing all the things. But like, that's with 0.9, 0.8, per cell. We're talking about 30 per cell. That's a scary number. Yeah, or higher. Yeah, you're right. Or higher. And so, and I will tell
battery
you,
Evan
like,
bought was probably around 250.
It maxed out my ohm meter on my reader at 99.
that is so
Jesus.
scary, dude.
Just showed a sad face.
Yeah, does not
Evan's like,
compute.
it's not puffy. I'm running it.
Does not compute. I was talking about the good packs being at 30, but yeah, you're right, Evan. Like, it is not crazy to see 200 milliohms per cell. And we're talking about heating those packs and then putting that in people's head now. And you already have people that, like, kind of don't know what they're doing with batteries and these types of things. And now we're telling them to heat them up and charge and discharge. And then they read some post that says, do it at 10 amps or 20 amps or 30
Dear God.
amps. I mean, this is where this leads.
Yeah. No.
And we've seen them pop. Those little batteries, when they pop,
Oh,
they
they
pop
go.
violently.
Hold on, I'll put my hand up. And
Yeah,
I'm
Timmy
also,
didn't get his name for nothing, Mr.
Yeah,
Blow
that
up
is
my
on me.
battery.com. But
I mean, I think
Yep.
I've seen 3 or 4 now over the years.
Yep.
Yeah.
No,
I'm actually
just-
curious if you can feel the difference when you heat them. Like I brought my little cup warmer out that I use in 10 scale, and I was trying to get mine up to like 90 or something. But I had so many other things going on, I couldn't really test it in isolation. But I mean, in 10 scale, when you heated them up, like you definitely know, like
Oh, yeah.
they are way better and way punchier up front. I mean, I don't know if you can feel it in 28 scale or not. I haven't been able to do like an accurate test, and it's like I don't want to be heating batteries. I think it's stupid and should be outlawed. But at the same time, if it's not outlawed, am I really going to spend thousands of dollars to fly to a race and then put myself at a competitive disadvantage knowingly? Like hell no, I don't want to do that. So like if people are going to be heating batteries, then I'm going to have to know how to heat my batteries and how to get the best out of them. Like I just need
Yeah,
to know that.
this
Yep.
ends poorly for everyone.
Absolutely.
I gotta say.
Yeah.
This ends poorly.
all
Those
right.
first two hot laps are always quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think, I mean,
Again,
like even no, when you properly discharge at 40 amps and maintain that internal temperature, and you throw your car down in 10 scale, dude, it's longer than 2 laps, bro. I'll tell you right now, you can feel it for at least 20% of the race.
for all you listeners out there wondering how to avoid this mess, you run mod where we short charge our batteries to 8.2 and we let that sit for like a good hour, hour and a half before the race, let it get down to 8.1, 8.0. The lady quit teching mine because it never even came in above 7.9, and it's just great. You don't have to do any of this in mod. Everything they're talking about, just run mod.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
true, except for the driving the car.
You,
I do have
you do
to.
have to hang on for dear life for 6 minutes
That part's a little
while,
longer.
while John Dixon's trying to get around you. It's very unnerving. But if you got steel up here or lead, I've got lead. It's a good time. We're gonna move on. We had a lot of big feelings there. If any of you were sponsored, I'm sure you will be dropped in the morning.
Probably.
We're going to talk about the Denver race. It is coming up July 23rd through 26th. We are going to have pre-tech. Jimmy loves his motorizer, and I bought batteries. If you peel off the sticker, it's going to leave a very nice void word on your battery, and you're not going to be able to get the sticker back over it perfectly to cover it up. So I've got tamper-proof stickers for marking motors, and they're color-coded. Red's going to be 2500. I think purple is going to be 3500, and we're going to have tamper-proof seals on your motors pre-tech in Denver. We will probably do post-tech too. I don't think it's a bad idea. I think introducing post-tech to the scale isn't a bad thing. They do it in other scales. We just got to figure out how it's going to work. So
Well,
that'll be cool.
I'll say this: you just got to remove it from the car before we do it.
Correct.
That's
And
what it was
remove
doing.
the pinion. Good lord.
And we got to do it at the same temperature
Uh,
ish that it was kept at.
yeah.
So,
It's
what
going to
I
be
would
what it is.
suggest is, and one of the things we can do is we can do sort of spot checking, Tim, and we can talk about how to do this. But like, I don't think necessarily top three. I think if something looks amiss, let's go
Yeah.
after it, right? I think that's the better way to do it, and that's
That's the way
worked
it
really
was. It was
well.
by protest.
Yeah,
If,
yeah, exactly.
if,
But the thing
Yeah.
is, SRA doesn't have a protest process, so that's a problem too.
well, there's
You
that.
can do it that way when you pre-tech them.
Yes,
Right.
that's one of the great things about pre-tech.
And if
Is
you're
you
down in the C main and you know you're not going to get teched, you can't put in a 4500 and just ruin people's races. So
Or
I
that
like-
11.5 rotor.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
no. There's lots of good things about pre-tech and marking motors. So we're just going to go
Yeah.
ahead and do it. Club
Yep.
race Thursday night before the racing. Layout will change overnight, but join us. I think it's like one class max. Come run your car. Come hang out. We'll be there late. Come hang out Thursday night. Do a club race. Let's see. In Vegas we
You
have.
guys want to do a club race or just leave it all open for practice?
Oh, I think do a club race. We get that money for the club, right? Got to do a club race,
Yeah.
Jimmy. We're doing a club race.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in Vegas we had the racers minutes for charity. Johnny and I scooped all those up for everybody. That was a lot of fun and awesome thing to do, and I love the concept of bringing charity into our awesome hobby. We have very obviously have one of the most generous groups of people I think I've ever met. With I think $7 grand total, $4,000 for a body. It was just epic. I loved it. So
It's amazing.
we're gonna try something a little bit different. We're gonna bring in some volunteer marshals. And if you don't want to marshal a race, you can't marshal a race. You got back-to-back races. If you have enough money and you don't want to marshal all weekend, you buy some marshal chips. We're going to have some people standing by ready to marshal for you. And we'll take care of that. And you just got to drive. It's all you pro drivers. It's your dream weekend. Just race and don't marshal. And the races are going to go real quick because we're not going to do this 3 more volunteer marshals, please. So bring cash for some marshal tokens. We will have we'll raise some money with volunteer marshals. So that'll be fun. What else do we got in Denver? 40 by 20 layout. We talked about that. We'll have four wide on the straight, 4 wide on the sweeper. It'll be a good time. One of the
We should
great
talk
things
about the
about
fancy printer.
5280 is
We should talk
we
about the
open it.
fancy printer.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, Tim.
We open 5280 when we get there, and we close it when we leave. So one of the great things about 5280 is if you just want track time, it is one of the best venues in the nation to go to. I think the last time we had an SRA event, Jimmy would open the doors at 6 or 7, and people kept feeding me beers, so I think I stayed till 12:31 one night. So if you want track time, if you want to work on cars, bring lots of tires because we open it when we get there and we close it when we leave. So great place to get lots of practice. Let's see. Any upcoming product releases you guys are excited for? Everyone gets one. I want the Reflex all-wheel. I'm a hoe when it comes to cars. I just want to build it. What do you want, Adam?
I think we're a ways off on that one, but yeah.
It's all right. I'm waiting.
Yeah, I mean, my wish list isn't realistic, but I want X-Ray to come out with a car.
Oh,
Mm,
shooting
I
for
don't
the
care.
moon.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care if it's a
that's the
24
dreams.
scale, 24 scale all-wheel drive, 28 scale two-wheel drive. I don't care. Just give me something where the plastics don't look like they were machined in somebody's basement.
So I've heard rumblings about some of the majors manufacturers starting to dabble. Any truth to that with you guys that are in the know?
I would say that there's a lot of rumors. There's some prototypes, but nothing. I don't think anybody's really serious about getting in the market
I
at
think
this
they're
point.
watching the rule book.
Yeah, I think that's part of the problem too. It's not
Art, what
helpful.
do you want coming up?
I think I want to try the GX. I mean, it doesn't seem like a car that I would want over my Gen 3 car, but like honestly, there's something about it that's interesting that that I want to try. I should probably get my ass on the pre-order list because I haven't done that yet. But I honestly think that could be a really great car, especially for like a 2500 Blinky class with a
Yeah,
lipo and a Lexan body. Man, that could be such a fun class. So for me,
I
that's
agree.
that's the one I'm looking for.
I agree. Evan, any new products you got your eye on? Maybe a slow car,
No, not
racy boy.
necessarily products. I like you guys to test out all the kinks before I dive in. Let me know what went wrong. But yeah, I'd love to see that 25 lipo with a Lexan body class. That would be fun. Definitely have to look at the weight restrictions and things like that. But I would be very interested in that.
I think with as fast as the 2500s are now, because you had to replace a body while we were there.
That was box stock. I got blew up, broke a body clip, but
Right.
that's practice at a big race for you when you drive a box stock. You gotta
Mm,
be aware out there.
yeah. I these cars are getting fast for plastic bodies. I'm gonna leave it there. Johnny, what's on your wish list?
I don't really have anything on the list with my wish list. I guess the
Want
most
your buddy
interesting
spec?
that I found out about is that slipper spool that we were talking about on Friday.
Mhm.
Like I started looking into it a little more after Adam was talking about it, and pulled up the
Don't
diagram and I was like, "What the hell? It's a ball diff." And then you were like, "There's pegs there instead of balls." So now I'm curious. I'm hoping someone here buys it and tries it.
Did you order one?
Is it between the ball diff and the gear diff, or between the gear diff and the spool? That's
No,
that's what I need to know.
It's between the gear diff and the spool. If I had
That
to
would
guess.
make the
it's-
most sense, right?
Yeah,
I don't know. I kind of like the way the ball diff feels now, so I wouldn't mind something so slightly more aggressive.
Get off those training wheels, bud. No.
Oh man, I
Yeah, gear
know.
diff is great. I love the gear diff.
Well,
like-
Marcus is one out. That's a combination of a gear diff and a ball diff.
Well, but hold on.
That slipper.
Wait,
Johnny,
what?
did you
It's
buy a
got-
slipper spool or no?
He's got they're conical balls instead of round.
Yeah, they're like rods
like
that
a
sit in,
slipper.
so they still
Yeah.
go across they still roll across the plates on the outside.
Still has diff rings on it.
Yeah, it still diffs out, but it's not like the pegs that are, sandwiched in between it like that. I'd never even heard of it. I mean, I'm relatively new to RC car racing, so
It just came out, didn't it? Was that the X-Ability one?
yeah.
And there's two different ones, so make sure if you're gonna buy one, you buy the right one. One's for the F1 and one's for the two wheel. So they are different, apparently.
And you need their wheels.
And you
Yeah,
need
because it's
the
got the 3 posts. Yeah.
somebody needs to make a thing for that.
Conversion.
Yeah. That'd
Yeah.
be a really smart thing to do. Or somebody just can come out with one that doesn't require their wheels, I guess.
Can
I
you
mean, if
just
we
come
just-
out with one that you change the balls to plugs or pegs or whatever the hell they're
Yeah.
called? Is
Yeah,
that
you got to figure out how to do it. That's the thing. You got to test material and sizes, and that's little stuff, man. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
but
took
I mean,
all the
it's
balls out, and I put sandpaper on the spur gear, and then I tightened the crap out of it. And we're gonna see what that does in all-wheel drive.
there you go.
It's
I
not
tried
gonna
super
end
glue.
well.
Didn't
Not
work
gonna
well.
end No.
Johnny put it in the front. I'm gonna do the
You-
opposite, and it's
Oh my god.
it's gonna work.
Hey, be careful. That's how I burned that motor down.
Yeah.
I have a hobby wing in there. It's 16 mils. I've got more cooling. I'll be fine.
There you go.
That's the word.
Jimmy, what's on your wish
Well,
list?
Jim, what do you want?
Well, I got what I wanted already.
Oh,
Top
that's
ticket.
right.
Reveal it in a couple weeks.
I love it.
What'd you
Ooh,
get, Jimmy?
What was it, Jimmy? Yeah.
Can't talk about it.
Oh,
No, it's not true. I don't think.
Yeah, it's a reflex.
okay.
Wait,
Reflex F1.
Oh, you came to the light side or the dark side. I don't know which one, but welcome.
The other
Wait, what
side?
F1 had he been running?
The
MWX.
reflex. I have the NWX right now.
Oh, I
Jordan
see,
was
okay.
fast as shit with that MWX in Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Well,
Jor-
You know
Jordan-
whose car was that? That was Marcus's car.
It was Marcus's
personal car.
Yeah.
Mark is his
His personal car. He sent it down to him to run.
with
I
his
didn't know that.
personal motor. By the way,
Yeah.
Wow. All right. No wonder.
It's a
Post
quick
tech.
car he runs.
I need that kind of sponsor.
Yeah.
too.
You got to be able to drive like Jordan. I sure as hell can't. That kid can wheel.
If you wanted a
Cool.
sponsorship, you got on the wrong podcast. Here we go.
Hey, we got pickles. We got
Yeah.
pickles.
Team Pickles.
Tea and pickles.
Listening to that
Pickles.
guy try to pronounce it, like it looked like he couldn't read it. I think he was just shocked it said Team Pickles. It was hysterical. I
Yeah.
died. All right, last segment, hot lap or hot garbage. I already talked about mine. I put sandpaper in a diff, and I'm going to run the shit out of it and see what happens. Adam, what's your wild setup change?
Well, I guess I have to mention the Teflon tape on the bodies.
Oh
That's
yeah.
that's been getting a lot of attention, but I have seen my car hit the board many times where it would have gotten sucked in and it just bounces off and goes right back into the lane. And I don't know. I feel like that change is what allowed me to start driving a little more aggressively, a little more competitively, when I could trust the car not to suck itself into the boards. So But I also did hit the board weirdly 3 times in the same race.
I saw that.
The one where I reverse peeled Art and ruined his TQ run.
Art was real happy about that.
Oh, his car was on that rail for like just 2.5 hours. It was hard to watch.
Oh god!
Art,
But my
what's your
car
wild?
hit the board and flipped over. I've never had a car flip over just from hitting the board, and it happened 3 times in one race. So I thought that
Art,
was
what's
weird.
your wild setup for the week?
I don't think I really have one. I'm gonna glue up some new tires for next time and see if I can get some pace. My car was a little too easy to drive on Friday, so and lacking some pace. I mean, consistency wise, it was right there, but like I don't know. I'm hoping tires, and that's going to be PN medium fronts and Marka 15 rears.
Oh, that's so
what
safe. God damn it.
I know, bro. But
It's called
that's
hot lap or hot garbage. You're supposed to find something out for me. We got to share with the people. Put some
I
grooves
got
in the
nothing.
tire for me. Let me know if it
No,
works.
I will not do that. That is the most ridiculous looking shit I've ever seen. It's
Like a live beaver got in there and gnawed little trenches
No.
in the tires, dude.
like I gave Johnny a set of brand new tires in Vegas, and what does he do? He
He's
gets
over
his
there
little
grooving
tuning
them.
forks out and puts a friggin' groove in them. And I'm like, I'm never giving you tires ever again
Oh.
if you ever do that.
All right, Evan.
That's all I got for this week. I'm thinking about buying another motor. I got whooped by a motor last week, so I'm wondering if I need to change my motor situation up a little bit.
Yep, yeah. All right, Evan, what's your crazy setup for the week?
It's not going to be crazy, but more of a tip for, the people getting into it, even in box stock, tires are so key. Just making sure the rear tires are round, putting them on a truer and getting to the same thing. It just makes your car so much more consistent. So it's just something I recommend for anybody getting into the hobby. And
But I thought
you
box
know,
stock was all about maximum outer diameter. Like the straightaway's the only
well,
thing
I
that
mean,
matters.
I got pulled on the straight and I still did okay. So it had to help somehow.
Tires. I love it. Johnny, you've got to have a good one for me, bud.
So I did this a while ago, and I still think there's something there. But in my all wheel, I super glued my front diff shut, so it was basically a front spool. The thing came out of the corners like a rocket ship. Couldn't get it to rotate, but it came out of the corners like a rocket
It also
ship.
went into the corners like a rocket ship.
Yeah.
Straight
I mean,
into Leo.
Well, and it
lower Earth
exploded
orbit.
like a rocket ship too. Let's be honest. You went
Yeah.
through 2 motors in one night doing that.
There was a bit of a learning
It burned
curve,
like a rocket ship
so
too.
yeah, be careful with how hot it gets. It gets hot quick. So,
I put an Arduino fan on it. I'll be fine.
there you go. Yeah, my house smelled like burnt car for like 2 weeks.
That's what happens.
All right, Jimmy, what's your crazy setup for the week?
I don't really have anything. Run a spool.
Oh,
They're
spool in
fast.
F1 at home. I am gonna try that.
Yes,
Because
It
last
works.
time
it is good.
It works.
Last time I tried it at home, it was a disaster. But
Save
I'm
it for the
hoping-
mains, Art.
Yeah, maybe.
No,
Try
that
it
when
for the
grip
first
comes
time
up,
in
it's
A1.
all right. Yeah, you're gonna
I
hate
mean,
it then.
honestly, it worked in Vegas, which was surprising because I didn't want to go away from my gear diff. But when I ran them back to back, the times were the spool was definitely faster.
Mhm.
It was just harder to hold on to.
Yeah.
It's harder to drive.
And
When
when
did you run a spool down there?
I ran it
What,
pretty
in
much
F1?
from Saturday on. You didn't know that, did you, Jimmy?
No, you didn't spread any information to anybody.
No, I definitely wasn't going to tell you. You were in the wrong car, but now that you're on the right car, I will definitely help you 100%.
Oh wow.
Just if he gives you tires, don't cut grooves into them. You'll
Yeah,
never hear
don't
the
do
end of
that.
it.
You'll never get them ever again.
I don't want grooves in my tires.
They look so bad. You guys need to stop pretending like that's
It
good.
Just
works.
try it
It
stuff.
does
Just
work.
try it stuff.
Grooving
Yeah,
tires works.
it helped.
That's
No, I don't do it to brand new ones. I do it when the tread's gone. But Grooving works.
All right, so the other thing that we need to do is get Johnny off that body he's running and get him onto something that actually turns. That would be a good thing for
Yeah,
you to work.
that biddy was not the play. Not the play at all.
The
It's just
body I
too
ran in
safe.
all wheel
Yeah.
was really good. That new PN body that came out.
It's
in,
actually crazy to me that the bodies make that much of a difference in Mini Z, but they really do.
They really do.
They really do. Like
Um,
the difference between the like those LMP type style bodies that you're talking about, Johnny, and like a regular, I would say more traditional GT style body, man, they are just so much better. It's crazy.
What's your recommendation for body?
try the PN. The
I
one
mean,
that
you
just
could
came
try
out.
the PN. I'm really digging that sub RC body right now. The Zenvo or whatever it is.
That's a good one.
I think it's really good, man. I also have the Ferrari from them too. And I actually really like the Ferrari body. I just did a horrible job cutting it out. It looks like a beaver gnawed on the side of it. It looks so bad.
Looks like Johnny's
And I
tires.
will tell you, coming from like
Ouch.
10 coming from like 10 scale, mounting bodies on Mini Z is so much harder than it should be. I don't understand why it's so bad.
Gluing
But
Did you get
tires,
your little
mounting
wheelie things figured
bodies.
out?
no, I'm gonna buy either I'm gonna make them or I'm just gonna buy those from Bionic. Those Bionic RC little plates where they come in different sizes and they come in a case. I'm gonna order those. They're super cool. Nikki let me borrow them when we were in Vegas, and that was a game changer. I really like those. I think they're $15. I'm just being cheap, but
I
I'm
never
gonna
even
pay.
heard of these. What are these?
They're the Bionic RC thing.
What is it?
Yeah, I don't
So
know what you're talking about, Art.
they're the little wheel discs that when you're mounting your body, you put your tire on it, and then it goes up on the side of the body and shows you where the wheel is in relation to the side of the body, and then you can just kind of trace it around and then cut it out. It works great.
Those are nice.
You're the ones you were trying to develop yourself, and you found real
Yeah,
ones.
I mean, I was printing them and I was getting close, but I just could not get the right. It wasn't a diameter issue. It was a distance from the ground to the top of the circle I was struggling with. And Bionics got it figured out already. So like I don't know why spend time trying to figure it out myself. I can just pay them small amount of money to have it show up at my house. And what's cool about it is it comes in a 3D printed case and there's four different sizes. So based on the size of your wheels, you can pick and choose because I use like different ones on the rear, the bigger ones on the rear than the front because I'm always going to run, smaller fronts than I am rears. So, but they're really really nice. They worked really well.
All right.
These wheel cutout guides, huh?
Hmm.
Yeah, pretty cool, huh?
Interesting.
I won
Yeah,
those at a raffle. I've been using those for a long time.
I didn't even know they existed.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the thing. They're a thing, I guess.
All
Oh,
right.
the other thing they have. Oh, before we get off that, when it
I'll
comes to
take a set
mounting,
of yellow ones if you guys are going to order anything.
yeah, I'm sure Jim wants to piggyback on everything, but they also have the magnets so that you can put them on your body posts, which is cool.
Hmm.
So then, like
Nice.
when you're trying to figure out like where your body post holes need to be, they have little magnets. Those are cool too. I was thinking
They're
about
$10.
getting them.
They're $10.
Yeah, they're only $10. But I don't know, maybe those will work too. I don't know. In the past, my favorite thing were the lights, the LED lights that you put on the body post and then it just shine through the body. That was so awesome. Because it didn't matter if it was painted or unpainted, you could still see the LED. It was great. But I don't think anybody makes anything that small for the 128 scale cars.
All righty. We're at the 2 hour mark, so we're going to do a really fast outro here. Upcoming races, PN Regional in Arizona. I believe that's the middle-ish of June. I think the signups are almost full on that, so if you want to go to that one, get on it right away. I think all of us are staying here to kind of help plan and get ready for the SRA race, so I don't think we're gonna have any travelers for that one. Anyone going?
I might go to that. My in-laws are down there, and my wife's been looking for a reason to go down to Arizona, so that could happen, but I'm only a maybe at this point for that one.
Cool, cool. Denver race, July 23rd through the 26th, and the associated race in Vegas in September, and club racing at a 5280 every Friday night. So,
What about Worlds? Isn't Worlds coming up soon too?
that'll be like November, December, and that is, I believe, in the Netherlands.
Yes, it
Go,
is.
go get your Deutsch on.
Sounds like there are some US based racers that are going out early to do some test and tune before the race. So I don't know if it's just like a week earlier or something like that, but sounds like there's some guys going, which could be cool.
That'd be a fun one to go to.
It would be
Yeah,
a lot of fun to go, but if I went to Europe and spent 4 days locked up in a building playing with toy cars, I'd never forgive myself.
the only
Like when
good
I
news
when I
is
go to Europe, I'm gonna be like seeing cathedrals and stuff. Like
Yeah.
I want to go see something. I'm not playing with toy cars when I go to Europe.
the only good
I
news
hear
is
you there.
I've already been there, so I've already seen all the things, so that makes it a bit easier.
Yeah, see,
If you go back.
Like cars, it is.
I've got to shed my
Cool.
clearance. I've got to turn in laptops. So
I-
it's gonna be when I
I'm just going
retire.
to tell you like this. If you decide to go to the Netherlands to this race, please be careful of the bicycles. They will kill you. That is a real I was almost murdered multiple times by bicycles. It was so bad.
I have the
It was
same
so
warning
bad.
about Boulder. And
Oh, Boulder's got nothing on
on
the
European
Netherlands,
bikers.
bro. Well, I gotta tell you, it's not like I've been to Boulder, and I've actually ridden in Boulder before, and we actually stop at things. Those people, they're not interested in all that. They're trying to get to work, and it's cold, and they're not happy, and it's raining, and they're just gonna drive right through you.
Dude, if I was
Yeah.
on a bicycle in the cold, I would be pedaling too.
No, seriously, it's crazy.
Alrighty. Closing words. This went longer than I think we're normally going to go, but we obviously had a lot of big feelings after Vegas. A lot of improvements, a lot of comments, a lot of questions. All for the good of the scale. I think everyone here is just passionate about these tiny cars. I race with these guys every single week. I know how much time, effort, and money and everything everyone on this podcast puts into 28 scale racing. Every single one of these guys helps put up the track, take it down, run the events. They help me race direct, everything. So this is just a passionate group of guys. We want to see it grow. We want to see it get better. And yeah, a lot of valid conversation to be had. So that's it for me. Adam, any sign off?
No, sad I'm gonna miss SRA. It's kind of hard to hear about it because I was thinking I was going to be there, but no, this is a lot of fun. Thanks for having me. I'll keep doing these.
You're going to Hawaii, right? In Colorado? Or
Ye-
you're going to Hawaii when they're in Denver?
Yeah, it wasn't intended to be that way, but we had to plan our summer vacation with the kids around my wife's birthday. So, yeah, so that's the
know,
weekend it's happening. I'm not
Gotta do
totally.
it sometimes.
if I had Hawaii tickets, I don't know that I'd make it either. All right, any sign off?
No, I'm excited to see what Mini Z can become, 128 scale in general. I think there's quite a few people getting into it now that have a lot of years of experience that may seem like complaining and probably comes across like that. But at the end of the day, I think it's about trying to make this better, trying to make it more fair for everybody, and trying to grow it. Um, there's always going to be growing pains, and that's just part of it. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think everybody on this, this vidcast or whatever we're calling it. We all care, and we want to see it turn into something that I think it has the potential to be. And I was very much unaware of it for many, many years. I was a naysayer. I'll admit it. And now I really enjoy it. There's something about it that I've really found to be it's really a special kind of racing that I really enjoy. Um, and I want to see it turn into something bigger. That's what I'll say.
Absolutely. Because you were completely retired from on-road.
Yeah. Like I'm still completely retired from on road. I don't consider Mini Z on road. I don't know.
Okay, well, there's no
Except
jumps.
for the fact that I'm going to a race this weekend that's at an outdoor on-road track. So I can't really say that. Maybe I'm retired from carpet racing. Maybe that's really what I mean.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Every
All right,
week's a
Evan.
different
Any last
race.
words,
Every week's
bub?
I'm just great talking through all this. Had a great time. I'm excited for Denver, and I hope we can see this 128 scale continue to grow.
Absolutely. Johnny, any sign off?
Oh, I think you guys covered it pretty concisely there. I guess my thing would be, have fun. The whole reason I do this is because it's fun. The 5 minutes I'm up there driving that stupid little car, that's all I'm thinking about. And I think it's important that we don't lose sight of that, because I've seen
Uh-huh.
what some of the other scales become, and
Mhm.
it becomes a little more intense. And I think that vibe and that feeling we have is very important. 28 scale, and I don't want to lose that. So
It
it's been a
is.
pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. No, I'll agree. I'll say 28 scale is very special because I think the community is just very different from anything else that's in RC right now. Kemper beat me all weekend, and every time I asked him a question, he told me how to make my car better. I got faster all weekend because of it. Um, I talked to Soto all weekend about my pan car. He told me exactly what to do, what he would do, what he was doing, and I got faster all weekend for probably the first time in my career. Normally, grip comes up, my car goes to crap. I don't know what to do, so I just go run in the B and be happy that I even made it. So it was awesome getting a lot of great help this weekend and actually getting faster all weekend. It was great for me, and I love that about our community. So the other thing I'm gonna say is I can't wait to go back to Vegas. That is a fantastic venue. I would do it again in a heartbeat, bumps and all. Maybe
Me
maybe
too.
not the steam cleaner again, but I'll take the bumps. I can't wait to go back to Vegas. I don't care if it's SRA, PN, whoever does it, I'm going. That was a great time for me. All right, Jimmy.
Nice.
Any last words?
Yeah, it was fun in Vegas. I would go back any race out there, 128 scale.
Hmm.
I just enjoy racing with everybody.
Yep.
You
Absolutely.
meet a lot of new guys going out of town. That's always nice. So
And meeting the
just
same
just can't
guys.
wait till our race in July. Should
Hmm.
be pretty exciting.
Absolutely. All right, guys. We're gonna call that a wrap. We will see you next time. Don't know quite when it'll be, but it'll be fun. Stay tuned.
Thank
Johnny, come!